Hi everyone, I'm Daisy Rocha and this is what's happening in Brazil. We start by updating you on the latest news from the country. Brazil finished among the top 5 at the Paris Paralympics, achieving its all-time best performance. The total was 89 medals, 23 gold, 25 silver, and 38 bronze. The country now have more than 200 medals in athletics and 150 in swimming. Brazilian women won most of the country's gold medals, secured in 13. They also stood on the podium 43 times, marking the best women's campaign in the country's history. This week, the Brazilian government deployed extra firefighters to combat wildfires along the border with Bolivia. The joint mission with the Bolivian government will also be prevented to avoid new fire outbreaks reaching the Brazilian Pantanal. According to the government, of the 112 fires recorded in recent weeks in the Pantanal region, 18 are still active and 23 are under control. The Bank of Norway has withdrawn its investment from the Spanish company Prosegur, which operates in Brazil, due to serious human rights violations against indigenous communities. Prosegur security services to the oil and fat producer Agropalma in Pará have been linked to preventing indigenous people from accessing their lands and resources. This decision follows a recommendation from the Norwegian Government Pension Fund Ethics Council. Prosegur claims it has not been officially informed and insists it has always acted within legal and human rights perimeters. Good news! Brazil experienced a general price drop in August, driven by cheaper food and house items. Prices fell by 0.02%, contrary to economists' expectations on a slight increase. The data shows that the cost of food and beverage fell by 0.44% last month. Potatoes, tomatoes, and onions are among the items that have become cheaper. House items also declined, influenced by a drop in electricity bills. To celebrate 30 years of struggle for social justice throughout Brazil, the Cry of Excluded organized a massive mobilization in various regions. This took place on September 7th, Brazil Independence Day. Under the motto, "All forms of life matter, but who cares?" the activity promised to denounce primarily the environmental crisis that mainly affect the most vulnerable populations.
All forms of life matter, but who cares? That's the motto of this year's Cry of the Excluded, a demonstration held every September 7th as a counterpoint to the independence cry, with a critical tone towards the current economic system. In 2024, the mobilization also celebrates 30 years of struggle for social justice and promises to denounce particularly the environmental crisis that mainly affect the most vulnerable populations. The event will highlight, for example, recent tragedies such as the floods in the state of Rio Grande do Sul and the droughts in the Amazon.
We are seeing many aggressions in the world right now. The environmental issue, urban violence, attacks against indigenous peoples, quilombolas, and more. So it is the reflection and these issues that bring us here this year. All forms of life matter, but who cares? It is thought to get the attention of citizens. It is also difficult to get the attention of Christians too, since the Cry of the Excluded was born in 1994 and 1995 within the Catholic Church movement.
The Cry of the Excluded officially emerged from the CNBB, the National Conference of Bishops of Brazil, which in 1994 promoted a national joint effort to reflect on who would be the protagonists in ending social exclusion in Brazil. Since then, the motto has been updated over the last 30 years, but with the same principle: life first. The idea is to demand rights that should already be guaranteed. But this is a distant reality for many Brazilians who still lack access to a range of important policies to live a full life.
One of the editions was during the struggle opposing the coup against the President Dilma in 2016. The 2016 edition of the cry was powerful and huge. The same applies to the 2015 cry of the Excluded, when Brazil was already in a polarized situation. It was a year when the Reds would take to the streets. 1 hour later, the green and yellow were on the streets and so on. So an outcry also boosted this political debate in the country. There were a few years before 2015 when the motto was "Youth that dares fight builds the popular project," which was also an excellent cry because it also had intense involvement from youth organizations. I think it was an exciting year.
In addition to the demonstration on September 7th, the Cry of the Excluded is a vast process that involves preparation and pre-mobilization and doesn't end after Independence Day. On the contrary, the struggle continues daily, with leadership training happening all year round. Last Saturday, Brazil mobilized for the Cry of the Excluded.
In today's Culture Talk, you found out about the first popular restaurant in the city of Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais, which is celebrating 30 years in 2024. The project gained momentum especially after the Lula government launched social programs in the country.
This year, the first popular restaurant in Belo Horizonte, the capital city of Minas Gerais, celebrates 30 years of history fighting to guarantee food security for the population. The unit is on Contorno Avenue and, not by chance, is called Herbert de Souza in honor of the Brazilian sociologist Betinho, an icon in the fight against hunger in the country. Last year alone, the project served more than 2.5 million meals at the restaurant and in 3 other units in different places in the city, with more than 740,000 meals distributed to the homeless population, according to data provided by Belo Horizonte City Hall. Around 10,000 meals are served every day.
If it weren't for this restaurant, many people would go hungry. I'd leave home to come here for lunch because of the food. I'll leave lunch at home to come here because the food here is perfect and the soup is great as well. It is better to pay 3 reals here than over 20 reals in another place to eat food that isn't that good. Here, the food is balanced and good.
Social educator Cleusa Souza Coelho and her husband, Cornélio José Coelho, also have a story with the restaurant.
It was our 39th wedding anniversary. Then I told my husband to take me to lunch, and he said he would only do it if it were at a popular restaurant. So we went to a popular restaurant in the state of Ceará. When we got there was a big party with a band and everything else, because it was the anniversary of the popular restaurant too. So I enjoyed the party and said, "Oh, to celebrate my wedding anniversary, there was a band and everything. It was the most special day of my life."
The restaurant is run by Belo Horizonte City Hall and offers 3 meals a day at an affordable price. Breakfast costs 75 cents, lunch costs 3 reals, and dinner costs 1.5 reals. Homeless people don't have to pay for their meals, and beneficiaries of the Family Grant Program pay half price for all meals.
We think about providing people with a complete meal. That includes all the main ingredients, from beans and rice to accompaniments like salads and also dessert. One of our basic principles here is hygiene and the willingness of each professional to prepare food.
The menus are drawn up based on predefined rules for each portion of what is put on the plates, such as rice, beans, and vegetables. This standardization is necessary because, in addition to the initiative being based on studies into nutritional values, citizens who visit the popular restaurant will find the same menu in each of the 4 units throughout the city.
As unidades de alimentação e nutrição...
The food and nutrition units are very careful about hygiene, health issues, and the quality of the meals produced. We also get a lot of customer feedback about the safety of eating here. At the popular restaurant. Many come up to us, thank us, and say they feel good about eating here. It makes them feel good about taste, and in fact, it's healthy and nutritious.
Esses 30 anos, dessa política marcam uma...
These 30 years of this policy mark a shift in the paradigm brought about by social struggle. We stopped thinking of providing meals as a task that could be relegated to charity organizations. Under popular pressure, the government guarantees balanced, quality control meals for everyone who needs them and is facing challenging situations of vulnerability so that they can get back on their feet.
Did you like the show? So hit the like button and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive notifications. We'll see you next week.